Hi, this is Joe again with another review. And for the sake of this video, for the sake of this video, I'm going to be discussing a most infamous radio event. Because today is the day doing this video is October 30th, 2017. And of course, it's the anniversary, or so to say, the 79th anniversary of the most infamous radio show in broadcast history. And that is, of course, the infamous War of the Worlds radio broadcast. Now, in the previous video, it did discuss War of the Worlds, but I did mention the radio show briefly in that video, and I mostly focused on the 1953 movie mostly. I gave a background by discussing the radio show. But for this video, I'm going to discuss mainly the radio show and its impact. And since, like I said earlier, there's the 79th anniversary of the radio show, so I'm going to be focusing on that, and I'll probably reference some of the documentaries that you can't see on YouTube, and we'll reference them as it comes up. So, like I said earlier, today, October 30th, is the anniversary of the most famous radio show, which is the Mercury Theater on the Air broadcast, directed, hosted, and co-ran by Orson Welles. And it was co-ran by Howard Koch, who later on co-wrote Casablanca back later on in the 40s. But for the Mercury Theater on the Air show was a radio show. Of course, back then there was no television. There was no TV. In the early days of the talking pictures, when still in the infancy back then. And mostly, of course, most people got the news, sports, entertainment from radio. So TV wasn't invented until like a year later. So most people got the entertainment from radio. And of course, you have to imagine everything what you're hearing on the radio, because like somebody said, it was the theater of the mind, and that's exactly what it was. And so you have various radio shows. You had the Lone Ranger was a radio show to start with before it became a TV show. Of course, you had The Shadow. You had sports broadcasts away, but I think since the 20s. You had sports broadcasts, say the World Series, baseball games in general, was starting to be broadcast in 1938. And you had all the different types of radio shows and programs and everything else. So Orson Welles had, like many others, had a radio show. It was called the Mercury Theater on the Air. And the problem with that show was it got rave reviews by the critics they had critics back then who reviewed these shows. The problem was that nobody would listen to it. His show didn't have, most radio shows in those days, at least the majority of them, had a sponsor. And the Mercury Theater on the Air, because of the low ratings, didn't even attract a sponsor. So what he did was, the next broadcast of his show, of the Mercury Theater on the Air, was going to be a Sunday night, October 30th, 1938, and since it was the day before Halloween, I figured, okay, let's tell a scary story. Maybe we'll get enough notoriety to maybe get ratings and stuff like that. And the story, it's okay, what kind of scary story we're going to tell? Because it was already having horror movies already in the early 30s already. With Dracula and Frankenstein and the Mummy and all that type of thing in the 30s already. So I said, okay, what are we going to do? And Orson Welles decided to pick War of the Worlds. This was written by H.G. Wells, no relation to Orson Welles, and they got the title, but he decided to literally make a whole new story, because the original setting for War of the Worlds was in London. So I figured, okay, let's do it where the aliens and the Martians destroy New York. And so, okay, where do we have the Martians starting to land? And then make them land in New Jersey, and then come across the Hudson River into New York and destroy New York. That was the idea of the story, and of the radio show. And of course, they had Howard Koch pick took a whole map of New Jersey and put a pencil down and picked this little community called Grover's Mill. And there is an actual place in New Jersey. It wasn't made up. And it's just a little mill, and that was about it. So there's like a post office or something. If that. And there's no community around there, but that's really about it. I mean, it's like you blink and you miss it if you're driving by Grover's Mill. And it's like, okay, let's pick Grover's Mill because it is an obscure place, it is an obscure name, so that's why they picked it. And of course, when the show came on the air, and you had this pretty long prologue, about maybe a 5-minute prologue, but a couple of minutes prologue by Orson Welles describing the story. And he did have the introduction. This is from H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds. And here's the host, Orson Welles. And of course, Orson Welles does a prologue, a little introduction, which is kind of similar to the introduction that you have in the movie from the 1950s, the War of the Worlds movie, which is iconic to this day, and definitely the best movie version. Has a similar introduction than you had in the radio show. It has a pretty similar introduction. But the problem was that the majority of the people, about 90% of the listeners, did not hear the introduction because they heard another radio show, the Sam Bowen radio show, which was on another, I think it was NBC, had that. And they had Edgar Bergen and his puppet, or his dummy, I should say, Charlie McCarthy. And they did a skit for about 10 minutes, so most people did not hear it. So when that skit was over, kind of like a Saturday Night Live, when you see the opening skit, and then most people shut the TVs off and go to bed. And well, that's pretty much what happened in this case. They heard the opening skit with Charlie McCarthy and Edgar Bergen, and then they changed station on the radio, and they picked up on this show, which just had dance music on it. And then they were constantly cutting in for kind of a news broadcast saying, a meteor fell on Grover's Mill in the Roman Forum. We have this astrologer from Princeton University, and people actually believed that was real. And then of course, pretty quickly actually, the attack starts, and you have people, and the signal gets cut off. And you have an announcer saying, we have trouble with our transmission, and all that type of thing. And then, of course, it got, the more dramatic the show got, the more people thought that the show was actually real, that there was an actual real attack. And well, it's the more fault, because they didn't listen to the first 5 minutes of the show. If they did that, they would have known who that was an actual radio play. Then, of course, people got attacked. The U.S. the U.S. Air Force got wiped out. The National Guard, the New Jersey National Guard got wiped out. The bombs didn't work. The airplanes got attacked and went into where the nest with the Martian cylinder was, and all this type of thing. And people actually thought this thing was real. And it is pretty dramatic. I'm not saying it's not, but it's pretty. If you didn't hear the opening introduction to the show, you will not know that this was fake, unless you happen to turn to another station, and you knew that it was fake, because something like that would be broadcast all over the place. And that's what Steve Allen said in one of the documentaries, which we're going to get into shortly. Former host of the Tonight Show, Steve Allen, actually. But people actually got scared. People were flocking in the street, and in the area of Grover's Mill, people ran out with their shotguns and were shooting. They shot up an old water tower, which they thought was an alien war machine. And people started really freaked out on this. And what happened was, the next day, or right after the show had ended, Um, I think about the first 35 for 40 minutes, that's when it was really dramatic, and the last 20 was really boring, in my opinion. Because the radio show, it is on YouTube, there's various people put that up. I don't know if it's a public domain thing or not, I don't know. But it's up there all over the place. So I suggest you check out the show on YouTube and see for yourselves. Listen for yourselves. Of course, over the years, there's been documentaries on this incident. Most notably, there was one that was conducted almost 20 years ago in 1998 on the 60th anniversary of the broadcast. It was hosted by James Cameron, director from Titanic. And it's kind of funny they got him to host and narrate the show, and he got Steve, and it was like an hour show, and you can see this on YouTube as well, about 45 minutes long. And Steve Allen told the story, and they actually heard the show, and they were freaking out, and they went to the lobby of the hotel they were staying in, and all of a sudden the people in the lobby all nice, calm, cool, collected, nobody was freaking out in the lobby, and they walked by, and they ran by a radio that was on the counter in the front desk, I guess, and they noticed that it was trying to turn down the station, so they figured, hey, if this was real, they would be having on broadcasting this station as well. So they knew, at that moment, they knew that was just a radio show. And of course, people freaked out and got scared. And still to this day, still the most infamous radio show broadcast of all time. There's various times where other stations, like 10 year anniversary, 20 years later, will rebroadcast and they cause a panic. One it was in a country like Latin America or South America, I think Peru or something, broadcasted it, and the people panicked so, and then when they found out that it was fake, it was just a radio show, they burned down the building and they killed 6 people, and the fire killed about, I think, 5 or 6 people. But with the documentaries, like the one I mentioned that was on the Sci-Fi Channel, I think that was one of the better ones. With the War of the Worlds radio broadcast. Another radio show, another documentary that aired on CBS, actually. It was hosted by Edward R. Murrow, called The Night America Panicked. And it was like a reenactment of the radio show, and there was one particular prominent actor that was in there. Richard Gordania was in there. And of course, anyone who was on The Family a bunch of times. He was on, of course, he also was played Cher's father in Moonstruck. So to see a young guy in the 50s, in 1958, which this was, it's pretty funny to see him on this thing. There was another documentary they aired on PBS a couple of years ago about, I think it was on the 70th or 75th anniversary of the broadcast. I think that show is also on YouTube as well. Plus, it was also a TV movie. Using the same title as the Edward R. Murrow show, The Night America Trembled, or I think Night America Panicked or something, starring Tom Bosley, from Happy Days fame, is in there. So if you can look these up, you can see on YouTube, and you can see how this radio show affected people in a lot of ways, and it's really, really funny to hear the original Orson Welles radio show, the War of the Worlds radio broadcast, and I find out that, oh come on, people actually believe this was fake, this was real. And I mean it's a good radio broadcast. I'm not saying it's not dramatic, and it's, but I like it for the first 35 or 40 minutes. This isn't attack, and then we had the cutoff point where they had like a little intermission there, because originally that was supposed to be early in the broadcast, but Orson Welles says continue it to when New York is destroyed, and that's why it kept up to about like 35 or 40 minutes in. In the last 20 minutes of the show, that's when Professor Pearson, was voiced by Orson Welles, it was played by Orson Welles. Then for the last 20 minutes, and of course at the end of the show, when they told, hey, people believe this is real. CBS got a ton of phone calls. As you know, police departments and state police, they all thought that this was. A lot of people called in and said this was real, and even they had to reassume that it was fake. And there was just a radio show. So at the end, when the show was officially over, Orson Welles came on and said, "Breaking characters. And that's the radio show. There was we intended it to be just a scary story because it's Halloween, and all that type of thing." And it's also kind of funny they had to put that message at the end because of what was going on during the show. So that's my review of the War of the Worlds radio broadcast. Please click on the video, please rate it, feel free to comment on it, please subscribe to my channel, and please forward this video onto your Facebook pages. You can check out all my reviews not only on my YouTube channel, but at rallyc.com, that's all WDY, and that's C.com, the homepage of the Rally Reviewer. First thing more, and please check out all of his videos on his website as well. And if I don't do a video tomorrow on Halloween, I want to wish everybody a happy Halloween. Don't eat too many, and if any kids are watching this video, don't eat too many candy out there, kids. And watch out for razor blades and pens and candy. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time.